In this video, I'd like to discuss everyday wellness, and in particular, I want to discuss becoming curious of the self and the precepts of the self and exploring, well, if there's no self, then what is this sense of self? And how can I develop a deeper understanding of who I am as an individual through really exploring the no self and the sense of no self and what it means to have no self and what it means to have a self in relation to this no self, in which our direct precepts can cultivate a greater sense of wisdom through stimulating these paradoxes that can provide us real knowns and knowledge and real artifacts regarding our own subjective experience, but also come closer to an objective end of the subject-object relations regarding what is true and what is ultimately true and universal truths about our nature and our direct nature regarding the self and the surroundings through understanding these direct self-precepts, which allow us to understand and explore the concepts of self, but also the concepts of what it means to connect more deeply to our experience through direct perceptions that have an aspect of self-subjectivity, but also some contents of our subjective experience in which we form relations to that we don't necessarily associate directly to the self, that allow us to form these processes of attachment and detachment that allow us to recognize these useful concepts such as no self, which allow us to place a distance between the self and the surroundings and to form more deeper understandings of the self in relation to ways of thinking about being that are not necessarily completely objectively possible. Not necessarily that it's not true, because it is realistically true and it requires a psychological truth or these subject-object relations for them to be true, because we're operating in the domain of perception and trying to understand the nature of perception. But when we're talking also about the universe, it's possible for the universe, and it is the case that the universe had existed prior to our perceptual existence, and that some physical aspect of nature had to exist prior to our perceptual development for us to have a sense of those objects in relation to us as individuals who are particularized and have also these distinct entity states that allow us to separate ourselves and individuate ourselves from nature and process prior events in relation to our existence and the emergence of our existence that started from somewhere rather than nowhere and happened at some time rather than no time. So the understanding the direct sensations of our precepts and forming meaning relations there is very, very important for exploring these concepts of self and the various dimensions and domains of self, but also understanding processes in relation to the self and involving very much this concept and this philosophy and also a deeper practice of engaging in